Hey there, Facebook world. This is Aubrey Agee with another session of Ask Aubrey. We are Anti-Gravity Detroit, and what we do is full wraparound services for small businesses that want to scale up. So that includes marketing strategies, brand strategies, technology improvements. It also means HR help as well, management structure, operations, as well as any little tool that can help. And it's not just me; it's a cooperative of individuals that have great talents and have either a lot of experience or just really hot in their area right now. Hey Patricia, how are you? Thank you. So if you have questions, please ask. I'm looking for questions that we may have gotten earlier. I don't see any, and what I'll do is I'll continue to talk. If we don't have questions, so we talk about businesses. We talk about. First of all, I want to give a shout out always to Flyball Labs because they are the sponsor for the location. Hey, Sandy. And they do wonderful IT work. So we always want to give a shout out to them and let people know that any IT, managed services, any technology when it comes to security as well. Their specialty is VoIP phones. They own an entire trunk system, and so they can be very competitive, and they manage hundreds of lines, if not thousands. And it's a small company, black-owned company. Is awesome. Another business I want to give a shout out to tonight is Pristine Impressions. Pristine Impressions is amazing. They are a carpet cleaning business that's been around for 5 years. They do commercial and they do residential. So if you're interested, they have a sale going on now for commercial businesses or commercial customers, 25% off. So go to their Facebook page, go to their website. The website actually is pristineimpressionsllc.com. So if you go there, you can sign up for that for an appointment and get 25% off carpet cleaning if you are a commercial customer. So that's one of my first clients. So I'm really proud of them. Demetrius Dixon. Johnson, how you doing there in Haiti? Good to see you. How's the power going in the, I know that was always the problem. I don't know if you ever found a solution for powering the radio station there in Haiti. I'd love to know. So anyways, let's get into it. All right, we're going to talk always about we're always talking about like a struggle that we see in businesses. And we see a lot occur in black businesses a great deal. And we'll talk about the overcome. And as always, real, but all these stories are universal. Anybody can learn from this. And this is a safe place. So if you want to ask questions, you can. We're very open. We're very, I would say, vulnerable to a degree, so that we can really dig into some issues. So I want to talk about anxiety, and I've been stuck on program management, which is part of operations for the last 2 weeks. I wrote a blog on fear of small business, fear of being a black-owned small business, and all the negative stigmas that may come with that. Again, it's kind of, Charlene, how are you? Thank you. If you have questions, guys, just jump right in, ask for questions. Oh, I see the video thing. Taylor, how are you? Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about one particular fear, and that we have as individuals. Fear that's brought on by anxiety. So I've been working on projects in the last couple of months, and I have been working on proposals. Right, proposals are kind of hard on that. You may be a natural writer. You may be a natural. Oh, thank you, Charlene. I appreciate that. Hey, Taylor. Yeah, I hope everything's good with you too, Charlene. You may be a natural writer, you may be a natural gift of gab, and so when you ever do a proposal for a potential client, it's nerve wracking, right? Because you want to win them over. You'd want to say the right things, and so a lot of times people will get caught up into in trying to look and appear like perfect, right? And in reality, it's not about looking perfect. Not looking like you have all the answers. What is truly wins people over is understanding their pain and then repeating it back to them that you do understand, and then coming up with a plan with them. And so when that's understood, then you can talk about the value, like how much are they willing to spend, and then if they tell you that, then you could tell them, well, I can achieve these tasks, these goals for that kind of money. And so it's never, it's about bringing down the wall. It's not about again, looking perfect and winning them over because you seem like you have all the answers. It's about letting that wall down between potential client and the vendor, which is you. So anxiety plays a big role in that, right? So when you're not talking to these individuals, when you're talking to them, you might connect right away. You might understand, okay, they need a much more practical website. They need to add e-commerce that makes it easy for their customers to buy, reorder products. They might need something more complicated where they have like an intranet themselves, like something a dashboard that the internal people use that totally does analytics on not just the website, but the information that the website collects. So you got, hey, Tammy. How are you? I said, Tammy. You're not called Tammy. My bad. Glad you're on board tonight. And so, you've got to collect information from folks. You've got to figure out and understand, how and what these individuals' pains are. If you're not hearing them, they'll notice. And you want them to notice what's going. You want them to notice that you understand what their problem is, okay? And a lot of times, again, hey, Andrea, how are you? Hey, cousin, Sandy, how you doing? So a lot of times the pains that a business has, sometimes they know at least half of them, but the other half they may not. And so you got to be patient and you got to dig with them. So the point is that at some point, you understand exactly, hey, no, you're not interrupting, Sandy. I'm saying just hi to everyone that jumps on. I really appreciate everybody being here. So sometimes when you sit with the customer or whatever, there's a certain point where you understand what it is they need and they understand what it is you can deliver, and you've got to sign the contract right around then, right? You give them a draft, say, hey, does this look good? Let your lawyer look at it. If they have any questions or concerns, you talk about it with them, right? You want to eliminate the throwing over the wall thing as much as possible. Now you give them materials to look at, you give them a contract to look at, but you want to talk through it with them, right? Give them like a day to look at it or two, depending on how fast they want to move, and then sit and talk with them, right? Here, be open to understand what they don't understand or what they don't like, okay? So the best way to attack anxiety is to not worry, to not contemplate the 50 or the 14,962,000 outcomes of if you say this or that. I'm trying to use that number from Avengers. Some of you guys might catch that. I don't know. And so there's never ever actually a perfect understanding. You can't guess it. So the only way we can know is if you know, and that's by talking to folks. So, oh wow. It says, my mom was most gentle in giving tips on waitresses. Love and concern is to help folks improve. Yes. So Andrea made that point. That's exactly it. When you are a business, you aren't there to take a whole lot of money and run and say, yes, I got their money. It's about truly, what's the name? It's truly, hey, Mike, thanks, Sam. It's truly understanding what their problem is. And so again, you can't guess it. You gotta sit and talk with them, and you gotta talk with your customer along the way. So at some point, you do sign the contract because you don't want to keep working and try to figure things out. You have to, poop or get off the pot. Okay, pardon that expression. And they're willing to commit at some point. And that's good for both of you. It's good for you as the business owner and them as a client. Dantes, hey, good to see you, man. Improvement tips. Improvement tips. But wait, you said waitress, though, Andre. You kind of threw me off there. Hold on, let me read that one. Tips to waitresses. So, all right, let's talk about improving. So, again, you have to be a detective / Oprah when it comes to understanding what your customer needs, what their problems are. So they'll be able to explain 50% of them to you, and you need to listen 80% of the time, and 20% of the time you talk. And then the other 50% of the problems, you have to be a detective and ask them, 100 questions, but not too hard. You want them to feel relaxed. You want them to know that you care, and you want to ask them, hey. You want to get down to discovering, hey, maybe you have a problem with the shipping of ingredients for your bakery. Maybe you should get a shipment maybe once a month as opposed to every week in your bulk items, and therefore you can save because of economy of scale. There's simple things like that, right? And maybe sometimes too when people are trying, again, I can't stress this enough, when it comes to technology. And so technology, again, remember, that's a tool. Just like the pen and paper are a tool, right? Technology, when it comes to like keeping track of inventory or keeping track of what you're building out there, you don't want to rely on a bunch of Google Sheets, okay? When you're trying to keep track of customers' feedback, you want to be able to have this information readily at your fingertips, and you want your employees to have the same thing, especially if you're a service focused industry business, as well as, hey, what's up? How you doing? I'm not excited to say hey, what's up, Robert? How's it going? Hey, tell Greg I said hi. All right. So anyways, you don't want to get caught up in having like too many documents, too many Google Sheets or Excel sheets. You really want to get together and hire somebody to build a data warehouse for you, especially if you have a lot of moving parts. If you have a lot of inventory, you have a lot of things going out, you have a lot of people to pay, you have several. If you have a lot of moving parts, you do not want to have a large amount of things you have to refer to. You want like one clean dashboard and say, look, I want to see where this part has been, how many of this individual LED light bulb we've sold and installed, and I want to see how much we've sold this month as opposed to last year this time as well. All right, you want analytics, you want to be reporting. All right, wait, as the customer, my mom would help the waitress with how to better serve the customer. It would help them. So Andrea, you're saying your mom's customer service skills as a waitress, she would tell people on how to better serve the customer. Chris, what's up, man? Glad you're joining. So yes, so that's the thing. A lot of people have these expertise, and it's because they have a job that's kind of related, right? So like again, being a waiter, you are interfacing with people all day, and they're doing all types of dealing with all types of people that are either nice or not nice or grumpy or tip well, don't tip, all that kind of stuff. But to better interact with, okay, I see you, Tim. I'll answer that in a second. To better interact with your potential client. Hey, Joe, how you doing? I just talked to Nick today. the better interact with your client, you can learn skill sets from individuals. Again, if you're an entrepreneur and you're making something or you've got some kind of service, you may not know how to do customer service, and you need to listen to those people who are experts, right? Find your jewels and expertise everywhere, right? Just like with Andrea's mom, an outstanding waiter or waitress, how they always are patient and kind and listen to an individual and get them what they want. What's up, Chris? So Tam, you just said something. We feel like people automatically believe. We feel like, this quote, let me see this. I'm going to read this out loud. We feel like people automatically believe we're not on a certain skill level. We won't deliver on time, or we aren't capable of executing. Now, Tam, that's a quote from my what's the name? Thank you. She said it's so accurate. That is a quote from my blog. So my blog was, again, it's out there. It's on Medium. I also put it on the Facebook page, so you can find the link there. And I talked about just the fear. Yeah, I wrote that. Thank you, Tam, for liking that. So we talked about being, again, we're talking about anxiety, and I'll refer back to the blog I wrote. Fear of small businesses, fear of being black, right? Again, as Tam had pointed out and pulled from the blog itself, I stated, we feel like people automatically believe we're not on a certain skill level. We won't deliver on time. I know we've heard these many a times, and these assumptions are kind of thrown at us a great deal. So the thing is, how do you overcome that, right? What up, Rich? How you doing? What up, Doe? Traditional, correct Detroit greeting. I appreciate that, sir. Rich, appreciate what you're doing too with the youth and just tech in general. So how do you deal with those assumptions about you? Andrew, what up, my old student? How do you deal with that, right? It's like a losing situation. Well, there's a couple ways to deal with negative perceptions, right? One, most people in this world at some point or another have a negative perception about a person they're about to do business with out of fear. And unfortunately, black folks in the U.S. and around the world a lot of times get those negative perceptions a lot, and tenfold or threefold or fourfold or whatever, just automatic, right? It doesn't matter how great they are. There's just the assumptions there. So what every business has to do is try to prove that, they're great, but at the same time, we need not to chase after windmills. Okay, so it's about finding, Simon, how you doing? Or it's about finding those people that value you, right? Value what you have to offer. Nobody's perfect. We can always improve our business, and that's what we aim to do. Because if there's something that we really love to get out there, something that we're really good at, we want to continue to do so. Now, if you have a customer base that loves what you have, what you want to do is you want to get their feedback. Okay, you want to ask them not you want to ask them a little bit of why they love what you have, but you also want to ask, what can you do differently to improve, right? And so Juliet, how you doing? So those that are with you and are honest with you, you want to say, look, what is it if you could change about our product or service? What would that be? Right, and you want to take note of that. And what you want to do is you want to deal with everybody that gives a darn about what you're doing and really loves what you are selling. Okay, not necessarily your family members are going to tell you you're doing great. You want to get that from the people that continuously use your product and your service. You also, if you can grab individuals who you're still trying to potentially win over, but you believe are your target customer. Certain demographics, certain kind of income they make, where they live, the kind of jobs. Thank you, Juliet. And so you want to ask them what it is that they need. Understand their pains and understand what it is. You hear them more, and if your product fits that, great. If it doesn't, then you want to interface with them. Not do surveys, do interviews. A lot of this is done with the business model canvas. Carla, how are you? Good to see you. A lot of this is done with the techniques they teach you when you learn about The Startup Owner's Manual, which is a book written by Stephen Blank. He uses the Business Model Canvas. Business Model Canvas is a great tool, but you don't have to fill out all 9 boxes. Okay, you have to fill out what's relevant to you, and you don't have to. You at some point, like I talked about earlier, about working with a potential client and finding out if they truly what they truly need, and then expressing to them and working with them on a solution together. You have to make a stand. You say, okay, I'm gonna collect all this information from the customers I have and those I think I want to have, and from having honest conversations. So I'm not guessing about what their problems are. I know. And then from all that, I'm going to design or tweak my product. I was about to say twerk. That's inappropriate, but I had to share that because I thought it was funny in my head. Twerk. We're not going to be twerking on this video when we're talking about tweaking. All right, so we're going to make things, tweak things to make them just right for the customers you're going after. And at some point, you got to execute. Right? There's always a leap of faith. You're an entrepreneur, right? There's always a part of you that's a leap of faith. But the point is that you got to have faith enough. Just remember, there is something that itched inside you that made you want to bring this product or service out. There's something that you learned, there's an experience or some family member experience that made you think, we need a better widget, we need a better customer service when it comes to whatever kind of service business that you're involved in. And so at some point you have to, again, you want to interact first and foremost with your beachhead market, those that are your first adopters. Ali, how you doing? And you want to be clear with them and understand with them. Now, the people that may have those negative perceptions and will never look at you as an equal or whatever due to race, gender, or whatever, you got to let them go. Okay? Because it's going to drive you crazy trying to please them. Now, you might have a product that they could use, and so you don't want to necessarily convince them. You want to convince those who don't have those biasness. And I know it's hard, you can't always discern that, but you want those that you know that don't have that bias against you. And again, can have that constant two-way communication and improve the products that way. So those, I guarantee you, the only way to win those individuals over who may have a bias against race or gender or whatever is to ignore them. All right, and think of them as humans, but ignore their noise. All right, talk to those people that are going to be real with you and give you feedback, and you win them over when individuals that buy a product or service are talking to them. Let your evangelists evangelize for you. Okay. Hey Jen, I appreciate you. You are everywhere. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. So yeah, Jen. So my friend Tam just pulled out a blog or a quote from the blog I sent you earlier. And thank you so much again for doing that, Marie. You're an awesome pillar at Wayne State in the School of Social Work. So that's, if anybody have questions, please feel free to go in there. I'm gonna kind of scroll back. Andrea made another comment. She was the customer. She would teach the waitress what to do. No need to say it's getting complicated. I'm getting a little confused, but again, customer service. Again, don't chase after rainbows. Chase after maybe the pot of gold that's at the end of the rainbow, or whatever. But don't chase after things that are not. Don't try to win over people that won't change your mind. Right? There's a lot of biasness out here. And you don't want to jump through those hoops. You want to jump through the hoops that are the people that you know need your product. Now you can tweak your product, not twerk. You can tweak your product and make it and improve it, right? You can, maybe it's in the delivery. If it's let's say if it's a widget or something like that. If somebody talks to you about the ease of use or the ergonomics of it constantly, to get that feedback. If somebody brings up something that you know is a loyal customer, talk to like 10 or 12 loyal customers and see if that's a similar problem or a challenge that they have. And then once you start seeing that pattern amongst all your customers, then look at making and talk to them. Hey, I want to bring you guys in. I want to talk to you about making that tweak, not twerk, or Turk. That tweak. What do you think of this? Have them involved. Have them get vested in it, right? Because again, okay. When it comes to business, I mean, I know everyone wants to get rich, right? I'd love to be super wealthy, pay for my kids' schooling, pay for it, actually, not pay for them to get in, not like those folks that did at those Ivy League schools. But the reality is, business is an exchange of goods and services between two or more parties. And you're always trying to give people something they really need or really want, and they're giving you something that you need or really want as well. And usually it's money. And back in the day when it wasn't real currency, when there was like salt and other things we exchanged for a service or other goods, it was something that could be used, right? I mean, again, I'm the blacksmith. I make the horseshoes. You're the farmer. You grow the corn. We exchange, right? Everyone's happy. So we can't get caught up in trying to chase the dollar. You have to get caught up in trying to chase the value, and not succumb to the negative images or stigmas that people will have of you. If you're a black-owned business, woman-owned business, whatever, you have to just focus in on that value. Paul, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. So questions, guys, give me some questions. I can go on and on about this, about scared of being black in a small business, right? And that's not, again, these things we talk about are big challenges we see in the black business community, but they're universal concepts. So another thing you could do too is you want to do heavy marketing, right? You want to do heavy marketing, but it has to be smart. You have to focus in on the individuals that, or the groups that you're trying to. Hey Keith, how you doing? I remember way back in the day, man. Wayne State, early days. Good to see you. So you want to get yourself out there. And hey, Rhonda, how are you? I hope things are well. So what you want to plant the seed of your product, do the advertising of your product or service within groups that need that widget, that product or service, and it's not a thing of like you're gonna make the most perfect commercial in the world and it's gonna go ahead and end the biasness that may be towards you or whatever, because again, that's not gonna change. But if you can get people to focus in on hey, Rhonda's an amazing PR person, people. Rhonda Welsh, she's also a DJ, she's also a poet, and she knows it. All right, just want to give a shout out to Rhonda Welsh. All right, so when you market and you do ads, okay, let's talk about this. If somebody needs something that you're selling and they're busy, right? Nobody's busy nowadays, right? Everybody's busy, right? So if a person needs to buy your product 3 times a month, right, or would like to have it 3 times a month, and they've been buying it once, and they don't buy it 3 times a month because they are always busy and they forget, ads come into play. If you are singling them out, if you're purchasing Google AdWords or Facebook ads, IG ads, or sending out newsletters, and the newsletters got to be short and sweet, people. We can't make them long. No one has the attention, have the time to pay that much attention. Otis, the entrepreneur, the musician, the tuba player, the cook, the all around excellent dude. Glad you're here. Let's back to the topic. You need to put these things out to remind individuals. I'm telling you, you're going to increase your sales. You're going to have people say, oh, yeah, that's right. I need to buy that widget 3 times a month. I need those. I need that product. I need that ingredients. I need those cogs. I need those awesome gift boxes, that I'm going to use for my product or whatever. So thank you for being, Ronnie, you're amazing. Seriously. I appreciate that. Otis is amazing too. Two great entrepreneurs there. So yeah, so you're gonna want to always do. You're gonna always want to remind people gently, and that you're here and that you're great. All right, and that you're great also not because of what you make, but because of them as well. Right. Show some customer appreciation. We had a client, and I talked about earlier, Demetrius Dixon, who owns Pristine Impressions. We did a campaign for him, and he was rock steady in residential customers. He probably increased the amount of residential customers he's had per day by a factor of 3. I could be wrong, but I know it's at least around 3 times as much as he was last year. So I'm really gonna hope. He does a good job. Here's the thing, guys. This guy does an excellent job, and he actually inspired me to start this company years ago while I was working at Wayne, because I just knew his work ethic was amazing. He cleans carpets and upholstery, and he used to do like 90 banks in like a month with like 2 other guys for some big company. Then he started his own. So I knew this guy was gold. So so his reputation is great. But the ads, helped introduce people to him. And so when they introduced people to him and they took him on, they were like, this guy is great, right? And so his business is just growing and growing and growing. So he's going to have probably some full-time employees by next year, right? I know he's got some employees now, but he'll probably have even more. And my goal is I could see a guy like him with Pristine Impressions, with his great work ethic and the standard he holds for his employees, that he will do well everywhere he goes. It's never going to be somebody says, "Oh, he did a bad job." If he hears that, he's back there or fixing the problem, and so he's going to grow. He was the easy one to zero in on and help him get some big customers and small customers too. We got them big and small. And we're really proud of them. So guys, so just making that point, it's always a given to have great product and service. And can you always continuously improve? Yes, you can. But you also have to work on what's the name. Hey, Lori, so good to see you, Lori. Was Eric from America Bank, big supporter of the Warrior Fund back in the day at Wayne State University. Mr. Eric Payne, the entrepreneur himself. I've seen him grow up at Wayne State. This guy and his camera and his production quality has improved immensely. He is everywhere. He's always been a super networker. The guy knew how to be a super networker at like age 18. And I'm so glad his business is growing and that he's out and about and that he's showing great things in the city of Detroit. Eric Payne, owner of Social Pain. All right, Corey, how you doing? Is that I can't see which Corey that is. Yeah. Oh, hey, man. You're welcome, Otis. Thanks for always sharing great information. Yeah, dude. Tell me Otis. What's the name of your company? Tell me your company name, and I'll put it out there. Great food. This guy he does pop-ups at bar and grill, bars, and he's excellent food. Just a great cook. He used to be the man. He is the man, but he was the man at Our Lady of the House back in the day. Just a great guy that brings great people together, and we want to see his good food get to good people. So as soon as Otis puts his business name up there, I'm gonna let everybody know. Going back to the obvious thing I was saying is that if your product, continuous improvement is always good, and you should do that. But you always got to focus on getting your product out to your customer. So excellence is always a standard. You should always have excellence as a standard, and then you should have continuous improvement be like a second focus. Hey, Karen, how are you? So good to see you. Yes, Karen, I forgot exactly what you did, but I know there's something very positive in the educational world, I believe. Thank you for joining us. So great product and service is a must. Continuous improvement is also a must. And then also just being good people, listening and taking in feedback, but also learning to weed out the noise and not looking like it. Don't let anything rattle you. Those are the ways to get over those hills, those stigmas that people may have. If you're a business owner, if you're a black business owner, for whatever thing anybody wants to point out or whatever and be a hater about, just you've got to keep your stuff tight. And guess what? We're not always tight. life happens. We realize we did something incorrect or whatever, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world. All right. Life is about always, dealing with the curveballs. How do you overcome the issues that come at you? That's what life's about. That's what your product is too, right? Because your product is going to grow with you, and if you're good people, right, your product's going to improve. If you're trying to always get over and try to make things look good, that's not. People are going to see right through that, and you're going to lose customers. All right. If you don't, you shame on you. If you still keep customers and you're trying to pull a fast one. That's just, to me, I think karma's going to come get you. And I think, you're setting yourself up for a potential big fall. Now, do bad things happen to good people? Yes, they do. But it's all about always, as the entrepreneur typically does, is if they fall down, they get back up. So, we want to focus on like how do you eliminate that anxiety? Those the negative stigmas will be there a lot. Look, guys, I noticed this a lot when I was running Blackstone Launchpad / Innovation Warriors at Wayne State. What I noticed was a lot of people. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate that. He said good combo. I really appreciate that. A lot of people would think highly of all of my students, right? Black, white, Asian, or whatever. And I saw a lot of white students, get the, hey, that's great. Well, how can we help you? Let's help you out. And I saw a number of the students of color say, hey, that's pretty good. Let's see if you'll fail. Right? It was like the opposite. Didn't sound bad at the time, but it really still was showing that people had a negative, expectation, and it wasn't just from, I would say, white people. It was from everybody. It was a lot. In fact, one of our biggest quote unquote supporters, who's African American, she would say she'd anticipate negative things from black people a great deal, more so than in most. And people have problems, and there are systematic things that people need to fix. But that's life. Again, it's life. Like if you need to fix something in your business, it's not time to throw in the towel. It's learn how to fix it. And a lot of times, again, if you're good at baking, if you're good at building widgets, if you're good at building exoskeletons, if you're good at biochemical what do you call it? One of my companies is working on probiotics, right? On the West Coast. If you're good at carpet cleaning service, right? You always can improve, right? You always can improve, right? And if you don't, you can't. Again, I know I'm repeating myself. You cannot worry about what folks are going to say about if they have a negative stigma or whatever about you. All right. So again, it's about finding those people that. So like again, when a lot of times what I saw was at the Blackstone Launchpad. Hey Keith, how you doing? Is that it's the negative. People have the negative assumption right away, and they didn't even think about it. It's just natural, and it's kind of built into our world, not just our society here in the United States. It's built into our world, and so we got to figure out how to overcome that. And you're not gonna change minds or attitudes in a day. Hey, how's it going, Gina? When I see her name, I think of Martin. So Gina is amazing over at MSU. I don't remember exactly what you work in, but I know you helped out with community and health, and I worked on a project with you. There's a lot of resources around here, people. Check out the people that jump in on this. Alok, what's up, man? I heard your daughter yelling today, all day at the house. It sounded like she was having fun. Alok is an amazing connector. Alok has technology services and solutions for individuals. And if you just want to meet somebody in the city of Detroit that's a mover and shaker and that's a good person, you talk to Alok Sharma. So thank you, Alok, for being on here. Yeah, Gina, thank you for being on here as well. And thank you for the projects we worked on in the past. Guys, if you have questions, let's throw them at me. I'm going to start just diving into some things. I know I'm talking about a lot of things that are psychological and like how to overcome them, but And I know it may seem like common sense, but a lot of times you gotta create tools for yourself, right? You gotta see what you gotta sometimes make a list of some of the things that you think you need to improve on, and again go back to your fan base and find out from them. Hey, tell me what you think about such and such. Is this a problem? Let me know. And if it isn't, tell me what the problem is. Right? So you want to make a list of things, but you want to keep it moving as well. Again, you're here for a reason. You got value inside you. Nobody is good at being you than you. And so that should translate into your business as well. And so you got to continue to find what you can add, what value you can add to your product. Pratik, what's up, man? Mr. G Beta, one of my former students. He used to work in my office. So glad you're on board with us tonight, man. Just to give a shout out to G Beta. G Beta is an accelerator that is free, that runs out of Detroit, but is originally based out of, or still based out of, headquartered out of Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin-Madison. There was this awesome, I think he was a PhD student or a professor, I don't recall. I think he was a professor, actually. He took his technology that the university owned, that he did research on there, and took it out to the world. All right, so yes, Pratik, thank you so much. So G Beta has its pitch night Thursday. Hey, I don't have my info up, Pratik. Can you tell me where it's going to be again and what time? So please put that up there. All right, I'm waiting on you to tell me time and location, Pratik, please. There's about eight businesses that are in G Beta here in Detroit. G Beta is always a diverse group, not just like culturally, but also the industry as well. So Stella Safari runs it here. Pratik is her right hand person. Super great individuals. And Aubrey, here we go. How can entrepreneurs work through the imposter syndrome and keep it from thwarting their efforts? Because it is the enemy. It's the super villain in our lives, in all of our lives. Okay, wait, G Beta, Industry Innovation Center, which used to be Next Energy. I used to run a wind farm, so I'm kind of sad it's not called Next Energy anymore. But it's right across the street from Tech Town, 5:30 this Thursday. I think they'll have free Kool-Aid, right? I think they have free food drinks, actually. 5 businesses will be there, right? And their alumni. One of their alum received like a Series A funding, I think, from their first cohort. So there's some pretty powerful individuals. But what they are, too, is that they're safe. It's a safe environment for you to explore and improve your business as G Beta. Please check them out. Sign up for them next cohort. I believe the next cohort will be in 6 months. But come see the businesses that are finishing up their program this week. Thursday at 5:30, Industry Innovation Center, which is on Borough Street, right across from Tech Town. All right, so we're gonna get back to, hey Aaron, how you doing? That is my girl from high school. Okay, imposter syndrome. Okay, lots of investors. Okay, that's right, Pratik, that's right. At the G Beta pitch night, there'll be a lot of investors on hand there as well to network with. But it's network with investors, with other small business owners, with startups. They're amazing. So fall, okay, cool. Next year there'll be a music tech accelerator through G Beta in the fall, which is amazing. Fall of 2019 or 2020? All right, I'm gonna answer that in the back a little bit. We're gonna get back to how do we, sorry guys, how do we get over imposter syndrome? So here's the thing. We have kids on here. So the first thing you need to do is recognize that you are enough. That you have this amazing thing to offer. That your purpose is yours. And that nobody else is here for your purpose. And your business is a part of that. So you can look back at your resume and all the great things you've done, and that's very helpful. That is super helpful. But the reality is you have to be able to let go of that noise. You know what I heard tonight? I heard two things. So, anxiety and depression. Depression is things you're worried about that happened in the past. Oh, that happened to me, and I'm traumatized. And the trauma, what happened might have been horrendous. I mean, like, it could have been abuse, every which way you can think of, right? But you can't let that be a defining story. Now, anxiety, well, you can't be stuck in that, right? It's hard to get help, get counseling, whatever you need, right? Let's be real about it, because these things that keep creeping up, you got to deal with them, and they may be a part of your lives forever, and you got to learn how to deal with them. Kind of like, like I want to be lean and mean, right? I'm not there yet, or whatever, and the only way I can be lean and mean is I listen to my trainer, and if I run, I eat right? But it's up to me to do that on a daily basis, right? If I stop, then it'll go away. I won't be lean and mean. I'll be unhealthy. Right? And then, I could get the high blood pressure or diabetes. You never know. So, all right, that's depression. That's in the past. Don't be stuck in your story. Your story, what happened was bad, but you can't let that define who you are. Okay? So you have to look at the things that are good. So you are enough. Your purpose is your purpose, and your business is a part of that. So you need to recognize how great it is. Is it perfect? No. But it's just like you, just like everybody else. It's a living, breathing thing that you're bringing to life, and that you're willing to work on to make better and better. And you've got to find joy in it. You can't. And then here's the other thing: anxiety. So depression is things about, that you worry about from the past, and anxiety are the things you worry about in the future. The things that all the different, 14 million different ways to defeat Thanos, right? There's all these different scenarios, right? You could think of, and you worry because you're overthinking too much. Usually, and a lot of times when you're an overthinker, that's a big sign of intelligence. But you gotta let common sense prevail, and you gotta let the fact that you realize that you are amazing and special, let that rule out, right? Just by you waking up today is evidence enough that you are amazing and that you are special. And a lot of times it's hard for a lot of us to remember that, right? But sometimes you just gotta tell yourself that out loud. I've got something awesome to offer. So the anxiety is worrying about all the different scenarios that can happen. So if you could learn to battle the anxiety using tools of recognizing that is just noise, just like a lot of times your computers do a lot of things in the background other than just the things you need. That's like noise, right? To you, right? As a user. So your mind can do the same thing. It's the biggest computer in the world. You can overthink a million things. So you got to recognize that. Now, the depression part, you've got to recognize what that is too. Those are things that did happen that maybe that you might have, you have to figure out how much of it was real and how much of it was you delving into the overthinking of that as well. It doesn't matter. It's real when you think about it and you let it pull you down. And so you gotta recognize that that's not going to define you, and you're going to have to move on. So those are the first steps. You got to battle the depression and you got to battle the anxiety. So you got to let those both go, and you got to work at that too, like exercise every day. Right? Remember to tell yourself you're enough, you're great, this is your purpose. Tell yourself, okay, overthinking is noise. Let me just focus in on what I need to do. I got to focus on finish up my proposal tonight, and I'm very proud to present. I'm not going to say who it's to. I know we're going to be able to help that company out a whole lot, and that's what we want to do. So that's the other thing too. So you deal with your own internal roadblocks, but then you also and you also recognize we can't ignore how people can be haters. Right? It could be things of race, of gender, of sexual orientation, whatever, or somebody doesn't like the way you look. People are always going to be haters. You got to recognize that's noise as well. So people that said bad things to you in the past, some teacher, made some comment about your skin tone, or some teacher or some coworker said, "Oh, you must be a hard worker because you don't have the technology skills," and never seen what you've done technology-wise. Those assumptions that people make all the time to people of color or women or whomever, right? You got to recognize that as noise as well. We got somebody reaching out right now on Rosie McBride. Okay. She said, "How are you doing?" I'm doing well, Rosie. We're doing a thing right now. I hope you join us on the broadcast. So recognizing haters are going to hate, and that will never change. And actually, that should indicate to you you're doing something right. I mean, that's the reality, right? Rhonda, I know that you're amazing, and I know that in the past some people have, what's the name, have tried to downplay your skills, your abilities, your network, and all that stuff, and that just meant you were doing something right. And so, in some cases, what you've got to do is and the other thing is recognize haters hate and don't look for their validation. Don't look to win over a hater. They're always going to want to hate. Sometimes it's a family member. They're always going to want you to not do well. They're always going to want to spit poison about you because it makes them feel better. And I don't even think most people don't say, haha, I'm going to, don't name names. Hey, did I name a name? I hope I didn't name a name. What's up, Delano White? He's a businessman extraordinaire. He did all types of stuff at Black Expo in Indianapolis. Jason Dixon, what's up, brother? He always into renewable energy. So good to see you. Jonathan Johnson, I can't see your picture. I know you. Jason Hall, the man, the legend of Slow Roll. Now he's on new adventures. He's got an electric bike shop that's opening up. That's going to be across the street from Whole Foods. Yes. Jason, tell me the name of the business and I'll put it up here, brother. Jason Hall is doing bike tours around the city. He's going where people want him. He's built a strong brand because he and his buddy Mike Cool started, and a bunch of other folks too. A lot of the core group. There's a lot of great riders. They what's the name? They started this thing with a couple hundred people, and it ended up being like 5,000-6,000 people that ride their bikes every Monday. And so check him out. Jason Hall's got some new things going on. Check him out on Facebook. And I don't know the name of the company, but I will mention it if you say it. Don't name names. Oh, they're on the. I'll call her out. I call them out. No, I was kidding. They know who they are. They're a hater. So that's all there is to it. Sheila, how are you? And the other, that's going back to the topic. Haters are humans too. And they are fickle, they are folly, and a lot of times everything that's coming out of their mouth is out of insecurity or feeling threatened. And it's something they're not strong enough to deal with. And guess whose problem that is? It's theirs. Now, what we have to do is we have to focus in again on those that value us for our value and not because they want to use or manipulate us or use us they want to put us down to feel good or whatever. And again, most people don't plot that stuff out. They just do it naturally. They don't think about it. They're not intentionally trying to be assholes. They just naturally do it without thinking about it. So then battle the depression properly, battle the anxiety properly, let those things go, recognize what they are though. Don't try to sweep them on the rug. Carla, how are you? So good to see you. Oh man, I haven't seen you in a while. Linda, how are you? And then also recognize haters are going to hate and recognize that's noise as well and that's their problem. And then ultimately, you have to revel in your greatness. You don't question your greatness, okay? Keep working on what it is that you're good at and you love to bring to fruition. If you stay focused on that, then the fears, the anxieties, the feeling of the haters hating, it will get small because you'll be too busy focused on what you really want to do. And so imposter syndrome is a real thing, especially for Black folks. We're out there and we think that we don't belong because a lot of times society tells us that. A lot of times our family tells us that. A lot of times friends tell us that, quote unquote. And none of us are doing it intentionally. None of us are doing it intentionally. It's just how we've been brought up, and that's the way society is. So on the flip side, not to sound all somber and sad, what I think a lot of us can do out here, especially people of color and anybody. This is all universal, but let's be real. The issues that hit Black people are pretty constant at times, right? Not to say person kind of rise above and they need to focus on the good stuff, which is what we're saying. I lost my point. I'm about to shut down too. So the big thing is the big thing is that the challenges we go through make us better and stronger. And so if you want to look at it that way, the positive spin is that as people of color, we will get a lot more negative thoughts about us just right off the bat. And what we do with that, when we get challenges like that, we can look at it as like a challenge, right? So we get those challenges and we learn how to ward them off, realize it's noise, and focus on doing good. Actually, sometimes it helps you focus even greater, right? It's like if you have too much time in hand, everyone's telling you can do anything you want to, and they say, "Oh, you're perfect." You know, you might kind of be lazy about working on your product and your service. Hey, what up, Jack? Because I mean, like, I don't know, in a lot of these pitch competitions I used to help students with all the time. What's the name? I saw when people won, they won this pitch competition. They thought they were the bomb, and you know, they thought their startup idea was going to take off, but really that was just like false. It's like a false positive. I mean, they won because they were good, but they also got lucky, and it's always subjective, right? It's not necessarily objective, and they let that go to their heads, right? So if you have like stuff being thrown at you all the time, and you learn how to ward it off or ignore it or whatever, you become much stronger, much greater, much better. And guess what happens to your product and your service? It becomes much better, much greater, much stronger. And that is, if we look at it that way, people of color or anybody who's got something getting thrown at them, it is actually a blessing. Count it all joy. Yeah, customer discovery. Yeah, you've got to talk, Jack, thank you for bringing it out. You've got to do customer discovery. Again, we talked about it earlier. You really cannot, you can't just assume you know what people want. You got to talk to your customers, and you've got to talk to people that really have those pains. Now, again, you got to discern who's jerking your chain and who's being real about their pain. And you can't spend all your life on the customer discovery. You got to poop or get off the pot at some time as well. Hey, teammate, how you doing? Oh, I can't even see the picture. I know you. All right, so tell us how Prism Colors can help support one another in our businesses. What are ways we can band together? Okay, here we go. National Business League. Check that out. Join that. Ken Harris runs that. That's a great organization that's on the come up. It's going to grab as many all black businesses and tie them together in an organized network. The National Business League was the Negro Business League. That's the original name. It was founded in 1900 by Booker T. Washington. And so now it's Ken Harris is leading a national initiative with bases here in D.C., Atlanta, and L.A. I think I'm missing another city where he and teams in all those cities are going to become like a great network and resource organization for black-owned businesses. So organizations, right? Also, thank you. So you put that on the thing. I appreciate it. Also, what's a good organization? If you're involved in technology, that means you could be a coder, or you could be a fuzzy technologist like myself, somebody that deals with technology, markets it, helps do program management for it, whatever. There's Detroit Black Tech. If you're interested in getting involved in that, please do, because we do Hacking with the Homies. Thanks to Renee, and thanks to Nikki Evelyn. Renee, I'm forgetting her last name. We host open sessions to do coding and work on your projects at Flyball Labs, where I'm at right now. I think about 4 times a month. It's either on Wednesday or Saturday. Okay, there are other organizations too. There's National Black MBA Association. Now that's not more so a focus for entrepreneurs. Here's the other thing, though, Rhonda, too. There's a lot of organizations out there that can support you. And you know which ones I think you should join? All of them that work for you. So you got to check them out. It's like dating. Like when it comes to like finding the right client, you got to date them, right? Especially if you do have a service business. TechTown has some great programs. I know that Small Business Association has some great programs. Oh yeah, thanks for putting that up there, Rhonda. I gotta pay you. There's the meetup for Detroit Black Tech. If there's any other organizations you could think of, Rhonda, too, go ahead and put them up there. So I know, like in the performing arts space, Decipher, dash Cipher, CIPHER. That's ran by Wayne Ramakan and Dominique Campbell. They are really advocates for the performing artists. We're getting about a minute to go. I'll go over a little bit because I want to get some of these out there. They have open. Hey, oh my gosh, Mrs. Jaylee, how are you? Tell your husband I said hi. Oh my gosh. So anyways, hey Adam, good to see you. There's organizations such as Decipher. There's organizations they do like open jam sessions at like Hockey Town in the Music Town setup on the second floor. It's amazing. What up, Adam? Love that beard, dude. Looking sexy. The red beard, sexy. But that's they do jam sessions. They have usually connections there to help people out. They have like business lawyers, attorneys show up, business attorneys show up. They have Congress folks show up. They have politicians. They have myself. They have other individuals that can help out. They also have a great little workshop that helps people set up websites. There's like a templated website program out there for performing artists, and it was really easy to use. I was impressed. I thought I was gonna have to help them out a whole lot, but no, so Wayne and Dominique have it down pat. So you want to look for programs that'll help you guys. If you need legal help and you don't have much money, look for the pro bono programs. They are out there. Thank you, Rhonda. There's also so like the legal clinic, the small business legal clinic at Wayne State University. There's one at U of M. I believe there might be one at U of D. They will do work for you for free, except you got to pay the fees to whomever. Like if you're getting a LLC, you got to pay $50 to the state yourself, and they're gonna pay for that. They'll do the work for free, but you have to pay for all the licensing fees and all that. So there are so many resources out there. BizGrid used to have, I think it still is strong in showing all the resources out there for Black businesses where we can like have safe places. Angela, hey, safe places to talk to each other. Again, Detroit Black Tech, National Business League, Decipher. There are more too. If you think of any more, please put them up. I'm gonna post some of them on my webpage, on my Facebook page, and on the Anti-Gravity Facebook page in a little bit. So again, guys, this was awesome. Angela, thank you so much. You're awesome. Appreciate you and how you care for people and your profession. Congratulations on graduating. So, again, we go real about a lot of the issues that Black businesses face, but again, there's no but to it. They're universal stories, right? We're not gonna sugarcoat stuff. I need to find those Decipher open jams. Yeah, you need to get something, Jack. Go to them, seriously. So, Rhonda put on I think you can see it. She put on the website. So it's www.decipher, DCIPHER.org. All right. So not the Y. Yep. Thank you. Put on the BizGrid. You man. Thank you. You guys are awesome. So check them out, Jack. It's so much love. I mean, people sing, they rap, they do solos on their instruments. It's amazing. Detroit is such a wonderful, magical place when we're inclusive. Now the exclusive crap, no, that sucks. It's coming a bit, but.